All right, let's do this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Long Distance Pizza Party Podcast, episode 52. It's 52 episodes, so now we will reboot. We're in new universes. We got hot mullets and pop collars or something.
Oh, jeez.
That's a deep DC Comics reference because that's what they did. They did 52, like 52 new books, but everyone's gonna be hip and cool, and then no one liked it, so they had to backtrack it like 3 years later. And then it really ham-fisted way how to backtrack it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about technology and is it ruining us, and stuff's falling off my microphone because my microphone hates me.
And there's your answer, folks.
And
The
there
answer
you
is
go.
yes.
That's not the first time that's happened. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew my knee was gonna tap it at some point. But this is a Crad topic we were talking about in Discord. What brought this on? Or was there just something that you just wanted to bring up there, Crad, about technology? I don't know if your new Roomba or your motor or your automated lawnmower, you hated it or something.
Well, being the age that I am, you cannot go with this since you're so much younger than all the rest of us. But being the age that I am, I came up in the age before cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And we had dial-up internet, and a lot of people don't know what that is. You youngins that are watching this, hopefully. And so I kind of got to live in a simpler time, and now I'm living in the age of technology and AI and all this stuff. And you hear a lot of the older adults, they're even older than I think, talk about the good old days, so to speak. And so the question is, were they really the good old days, or is technology a great help to society? And you can argue either way, I guess, technically. So I'll pose the question to you gentlemen first, then I'll answer my own self. Since you are the youngest one here, Mr. Nathaniel, and you grew up mostly in the age of technology, you obviously were born when the cell phones or everything was going on. Do you find technology helpful? Do you think we have too much? Or what do you think? What's your hot take on this topic?
I think technology is good on overall whole, like it commoditizes society, but the problem is I feel like there's so much of it. Like I feel like we don't need a new phone every year. I feel like we don't need a new game system every year. I feel like we don't need like new things every year. I feel like technology doesn't progress that much where you need the new one every year. Actually, funny enough, you brought that topic up, and then I saw a video. There's some big tech YouTuber. He contacted some company, and he ran the math and like built all the specs, how much actual phone would cost, like decent phone. And a phone now is $1,000, something like that. It feels like Apple's like close to 1,000. I don't know. I buy mine used on like eBay, so I spend like $400 or $500, like half of that. And he did about $500. That's including the specs, the packaging, like all that junk that you go into your phone. But then I see people spending like $1,000 on the phone every year. I'm like, I don't feel like dropping that much money on it. Mm-hmm. Or like a new game system's roughly $600, $700, depending on the game system. And then like I don't think we need all this automated stuff. Like I was joking about automated lawnmower. I see someone do that, and I'm like, that can't be that different. Like if you ran the math versus you're riding or pushing a lawnmower and your motorized one, like I don't see the difference, like how better it is, because I feel like it's more time, because they're not like big ones. It's like a Roomba.
Yeah, I've seen what you're talking about.
Like it doesn't, like some technology is like cool in concept, but I don't think it like works like in daily application. Like sometimes I feel like I'm like it's Wall-E, where it's just weird to have technology for every little thing, and I feel like that's unnecessary. Like,
so what do you consider a helpful technology that we have today?
I think cell phones are good because it's better communication. I can call someone that's like, or like with video calls, long distance, or like, if your family is long on the other side of the country. Like I got on, lives in California. I feel like even 10 years ago, like with your phones, it was like you had paid like by the minute or stuff like that. Like there's this nice progression of communication, but also like there's too much communication because now you can learn every little thing on someone by doing like a quick like Google search.
So we've given up, and I've heard this argument before actually, we've given up privacy for the cost of technology, basically.
Yeah. Which, I mean, good and bad, it's kind of nice because some people can find something. on someone, whether you're on social media or you're in some dating app, like you can find more on someone, but also it's kind of freaky how much someone can actually find out on me by just typing in my name. Like if you just looked on Facebook, how much they're actually finding. And now like all these websites want more information from you, like from all the cookies and everything. Like they want to know your phone number, your data, like all this junk. And now, like, of course, you get all these scammers that are out there that are just like, oh, I have all this information on you, just like quick, like keystroke search on you. Like they're able to get in your computer for like the back door, and it's kind of freaky. Like that's how much technology we're so used to. Like now, I think generations don't think about that. Now, like they don't have like that forward thought of like, hey, how much is this a danger to me? Like they're so used to it.
Yeah,
Like I think I'm on that like that. Like I think I'm on that edge of my age where it's like I knew kind of before a lot of the cell phones these compute like better computers, and but then now there's kids that are younger than me that they're so used to like they don't remember before cell.
What about you, Strange? I'll pose the same question. Technology, good, evil, bad, or ugly?
So I also am of the older, and I was born in the mid 80s, so I grew up seeing all the changes come in. I remember when we first had computers in the classroom, and it was all text based. There was no
Mhm.
GUI, graphical user interface, whatever. There was really no pictures. It was just all text. And then I saw that grow, and then I remember getting our first computer in our house, just this basic one, and then we had the dial-up internet. And if you were on the internet, you couldn't use the phone, and if you were on the phone, you couldn't use the internet because it was um,
Modem.
the modem, yeah, and all that. And then my first cell phone was a track phone, literally just um, call, text, with the old punch
Yeah,
seven,
you had to
four
punch
times to
like
get
three
S or
buttons to
something
get
like
one
that.
letter. Yeah.
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 Went from that to the first smartphone, and then having that be like, you had 2 gigabytes a month that you could use. It wasn't unlimited like it is now. Anyway, so saw just all of that grow. I grew up on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and then the Super Nintendo 64, GameCube, all the way up. So seeing video games as they progressed from the very beginning, almost the very beginning. And I will say technology in and of itself, like many things, is neither good nor evil. It is based upon the person who uses it. Um, all, but then, then I'll refer to the quote, and I'm not going to get it exact, but that Jeff Goldblum's character did on Jurassic Park.
Mm.
Um, everyone was so considered on if we could do it and not whether we should do it. Of course, he was talking about breeding or bringing dinosaurs back, but when it comes to technology, I use this for AI. Um, with the way AI is advancing and all of it can do, it's not a matter of, everyone's just looking at what can we do, and not necessarily what should we do. And that's where it starts to get scary, because the technology in the wrong hands is what is going to bring about a lot of pain potentially. So that's kind of my take on it. I think all technology is neither bad nor good, but it's just based upon who is using it.
That is actually going to be my argument as well. Um, and if you look out throughout human history, we have a great track record of using technology in a appropriate way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You just
Oh
have to
yeah.
study our history and go back to um, the invention of gunpowder and how
Hmm.
well that went. And
Yeah.
I mean, even to primitive weapons like this sling and things like that. That is still considered a technology upgrade.
Well, if you
And
think about it, at the main driver for technology most of the time was war.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
And developing technology really boomed every time there was a big war,
mhm,
because and then it was only after that it's like, "Oh, okay, well, now we can use this for other things."
right, right.
So,
And like you said, it like anything, it's necessarily not good or evil. It's the person using it. However, that being said, the way that the world is these days, there's a lot more propensity, and that's my $5 word of the day, to use these new technologies for evil purposes.
Hmm.
Um, I guess you almost have to come, like in war, you almost have to counter new technologies, like with the AI and everything, um, with something, because it brings up the question, and I've seen people talk about this. There was even a case that I saw on TikTok recently. There was a guy that had a TikTok, where he was challenging. He wrote a alternate version to "The Devil Went Down to Georgia,"
Mm,
and he uh, basically was like a continuation of that story, the original Charlie Daniels song.
right.
And so he wrote this, version of this song, and then he invited people to come on TikTok and basically do the fiddle part. He did the harmony, guitar, everything, but he invited guest artists to do the fiddle part. Basically, kind of like it wasn't really a contest, but just kind of like a collaboration type of thing.
Right.
And so someone took that was one of his followers, took that song, redid it in AI, and then released it right out from under him.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm,
in the middle of trying to promote this song, and he's very upset, and rightly so, that somebody would take his property, his creative property, and use this new technology to basically steal it from him, and then release it. And so you have things like that. It's getting to the point where the videos are getting harder and harder to tell what is real and what is fake, unfortunately. And so we live in a very interesting time. I mean, you know, just the leap forward in the last decade or two is just nuts. I mean, it,
yeah. Even
we're
just the last year or two.
yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we're starting to see things that old sci-fi movies couldn't even touch, which is
Right.
nuts. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if we have some of the technologies that are part of our favorite, childhood shows, like in Star Wars and Star Trek. If the Lord tarries, of course, that's up to him. The last time we tried to get too close to heaven, he did something about that with the Tower of Babel.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's a crazy time to live. I mean, even right now, we started this podcast. I'm sitting in one state in this country, Nathan's sitting in another, and Stranger's sitting in another, and yet we're still real time right now having a conversation, which
Hmm.
was not something I personally saw as I was growing up in the '90s as being possible,
Ah,
and
no.
the late '80s, early '90s as being possible. I remember, like you talked about with the cell phones, I remember my dad's first cell phone was basically a brick. It was a very old model. I mean, you could probably have busted somebody upside the head with that thing, and that cell phone probably still would have worked. But it was just a
It's
big old
Nokia.
thing.
Just
Yeah, basically, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a Nokia or something, but it was just a brick. And then, like you said, along came those very first, smartphones, if you will, where you could barely
Hmm.
get out a text, and you had to, press the button 3 times to get one letter. And then you got the slow upgrade. I remember 3G. 3G was the big thing. Oh my gosh, here comes 3G. And then you got 4G, and now we got 5G, and all this stuff. Where will it end? And so, some of the movies, man, I think the longer we live, the closer they are to becoming reality. and
Yeah.
and so I guess it's up to us, as users of all this technology, to be responsible. Of course, the great Stanley quote: "With great power comes great responsibility." And I would
must come
argue,
great responsibility.
yeah, well, that too. But I would argue that's the same thing with the usage of technology, because within just a few keystrokes, in this world, we have the power to destroy or to heal. Another example I think of is some of the things that are being done now is stealing people's identity by using AI generated voices, by
Hmm.
tricking people into giving away their hard earned money that they've saved for years because they believe somebody else is in trouble and they're not really in
Yeah.
trouble. Just crazy stuff. Nathan, you talked about scammers. Some of the most popular YouTube videos right now are people using technology like voice changers to fool scammers, which I love, by the way. I love wasting
Yeah.
the scammers' time.
Oh
I
yeah,
Oh
find
yeah.
that
absolutely.
hilarious. because, if I know if they're dealing with me, they're not dealing with some 80-year-old grandmother who's going to, give them their last pension check or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mess
But
with them all the time.
oh yeah, it's fun. I'm not. That's bad for me to say that as a Christian and a believer, but wasting their time actually brings me joy, and
Mhm.
that's bad. I pray for them, but it does. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'll be transparent. But so I mean, it's a crazy world we live in. Like I said, things are just happening every day that I did not know would be possible. VR is another example.
Yeah.
Virtual reality. I mean, how far have we come from what was it, the Game Gear or something like that that Nintendo had? What you know what I'm talking about?
Are you
That
talking to the
Yeah,
Game
yeah,
Boy?
yeah, yeah.
no, not Game Boy, the one where you had to actually
Oh,
wear the.
the
Oh, you
You know
mean
what I'm
the
talking.
thing that they just they're
the
like
Yeah, the
re-releasing or
thing that
something
they're
like that?
re-releasing.
Yeah.
That old school, it just had the
yeah,
red in there. She had
yeah, it was
little
Yeah.
colors and
red.
stuff. I
I don't remember
forget
what that
what
was
it's
called.
called, but you know what I'm talking about.
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, there it is. That's what it is.
You said
Virtual Boy.
Game Gear, and I'm like, I think
Yes, yeah,
that's
That's
it's
Sega.
yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
my apologies. But yeah, the Virtual Boy, and I remember playing that. I remember I knew somebody that had that and playing that, and I thought, well, that's really cool at the time. But now, we got stuff we can put on and walk around and just nutty stuff, just
Well, not
nutty
even that.
stuff.
Like even just regular looking glasses, and you can just
Yeah,
Oh, the
walk
Ray
around town with
Bans.
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Google
Yeah.
glasses. You got, I'm sure those, of course, they didn't really last that long, but you got just stuff, just crazy stuff happening every day, and so. I would argue, like you talked about, it's not necessarily the technology which is good or evil, it's the usage
Hmm.
of the technology. With that being said, to counter to throw another question in there, because that would be a very short conversation if that's just where we stopped it right now. What do you wish that was, basically, I guess this would be more for you and me, Strange, than Nathaniel, because he's a little bit
Hmm.
younger than us. But what do you wish kind of didn't change because of technology? What do you like before, you grew up and I grew up in the very early stages of a lot of this technological revolution. What do you wish didn't change that has been so impacted by some of these modern technologies?
Um. So for me, I mean, I see a lot of positives. Like even with cell phones, on the positive side, it is good to be able to get a hold of people, close, family, loved ones, whenever, wherever. Especially like I remember when I was a kid visiting like SeaWorld and Universal Studios and then getting lost, separated from my dad. And like
As it
nowadays,
happens.
like if we had cell phones, would just call them, hey, where are you at? And then go find each other instead of, getting scared and having to wait for somebody.
Mm.
But at the same time, now you have with these smartphones, teenagers and kids having access to anything and everything at their fingertips, and it's not hard to get to the dark side of the internet.
Mhm.
No. Or
So
you got like the Uber Teens thing. That
yeah,
I discussed with my mom. That sketches me out because what is stopping some guy, like regular
yeah,
guy or like whatever, and they like to mess around and they hack into a teen account or they make their own, because there's I don't know how that works, but I don't know how well you're able to verify, hey, I'm not X age
Mhm.
or I am X age. Like that's very freaky. But there's a lot of these kids now that they're so used, again, they're so desensitized to technology, they don't know the difference. They're not thinking about that. They don't have the forethought
yeah.
to think about that. Like we could tell them, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, but they're probably talking to someone on TikTok or like any social media, some rando out there, just having a conversation, and then it goes somewhere. Like you hear all those cases, and like in my mind, it's like, oh, I wouldn't do that. But there's now all these kids that don't have that, again, forethought or a lot of that training to not do that, and that's
No, I agree.
very
Yeah.
sketchy with how will they advertise it
Mhm.
Yeah.
too.
Well, and kids nowadays too, we are losing social skills bad. And I'm socially awkward
Yes.
myself, but I mean that was just me. But we have kids that have no idea how to socialize
Mhm.
properly. And then of course you have all of the trollers, right? That are feel free to just say whatever they want because they can get away with it now. And
Keyboard
it's
warriors, as they're called.
yeah. So I mean that stuff's crazy. But I remember seeing this meme on it was probably Facebook at one point where somebody was saying, AI is taking over and doing all the art and music stuff for me so that I have more time to like fold clothes and do chores. And they're like, this is it backwards. I should have AI doing all these chores for
Mhm.
me, menial tasks, so that I can go do
Be
the art
creative.
and the music and
Yeah.
the passions and things like that. And it should be reversed, but it's not. And that's kind of where it's getting away from. That's what I would like AI to do, and it's not. And it's doing the complete opposite. And now you have people using AI to rip other people off from their talents.
Well, it's
So,
like
I mean, that's a huge negative to me.
it's like the example I talked about earlier with the guy who wrote, him and his
Exactly.
friend Crad wrote that song, and then someone
Yeah.
stole it out from under and made a version. My thing that I see there's two or three I have a gripe with. One, I think, depending upon technology, it can fundamentally shift the foundation or the how to say it the what's a good word for it I'm looking for. Well, foundation is good enough, but basically the family life. And what I mean
Yes.
by that is, everybody's so wrapped up in their screens. So, they don't take time to actually talk to each other anymore, find out how the day is going, that kind of stuff. That it becomes an all consuming thing. I know myself, I've been guilty.
Hmm.
Like like when I go on vacation, for instance, this year I went to the beach, me and my wife and my parents. And I think at times I was guilty. Instead of enjoying my surroundings, I don't get to go to the beach every day and enjoy the ocean and the sunset, sunrise. I was looking at my phone too much. I was checking in what was going on at home. I was, engaged in stuff when I should have been enjoying just taking a moment and just, taking everything in. But because, I've become so addicted to instant access to news or to Facebook or to TikTok or to Snapchat or name whatever you want to name. It took away from the experience that I was trying to have, saying that, hey, I need this break, I need to unplug, I need to get away from work stress or whatever else. But I still brought that with me through my little device here. When I should have just taken time to just be in the moment with my parents and my wife and some other family that I got to see on the trip. But I was guilty of just saying, hey, I still got to be connected. I still got, got that itch. I can't get away from it now. It's been part of my life. The second thing I would say is people really suck at driving because of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just scratched an itch with Nathaniel over there.
No, it's around here. I know it's around bad everywhere, but around here, now I'm not gonna say I've not been guilty of like trying to look at my phone for something,
Mhm.
but like everyone's done that. But the life, if I can see you from behind you, if I can see you going like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
or what gets me is when I see people on TikTok or something and they're driving and recording. That drives me nuts because I'm like, how, you could also be hitting someone or like another vehicle. Like I don't understand like someone's like obliviousness
Yeah.
a little bit. Like I don't get that.
That's the other thing I would argue is that people, and again, like Daniel said, I can't say I've never been guilty of doing it myself because I have.
Yeah.
But we do that too much, and I think to a certain degree we even engage with the in-car technology too much because
Yeah.
you got GPS, you got radio and everything else. And don't get me wrong, I love listening to radio, I love listening to podcasts when I'm going down the road. But all that can be a distraction. Matter of fact, I will say this in real life. I got into a wreck like 2 days ago because of a distracted driver. Somebody sideswiped me because they were on the phone with somebody. Or they admitted being on the phone with somebody and they weren't paying attention and they ended up sideswiping me. I am fine. Thank you for asking. But no, just kidding with you. But so I've seen real life examples, and I can't say because I can't say I've not looked at my phone or been engaged when I shouldn't have been. But so stuff like that really kind of bothers me on a more personal level. How about you, Daniel? I'll say, what do you miss,
Yeah.
or what do you wish was different? I guess you could say.
I would like, because I can't tell you, I do this too, because I hate going into Walmart trying to get stuff. So you like want to autofocus, you're on your phone watching something. Like the amount of like, it doesn't feel like people are like communicate with people. And I think really it's evident. I like the idea of self checkouts. I like at Walmart, but I kind of miss. I always try to make a point trying to talk to the people that work whenever I'm going somewhere. I like that social aspect, and I kind of wish more places had that focus versus being like, oh, everything's got to be at a kiosk. There isn't really interactions between people. I think that's one side of technology where it's like I could talk to someone on Discord, on Facebook, but there's not that social interaction.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that goes back into the thing I was talking about is like we are just not knowing how to be social anymore.
have you guys seen the new McDonald's? So they don't have registers at the front. It's at kiosks now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't interact really with the people unless they're bringing you your food, unless you're doing like through the drive-through.
Hmm.
And so it feels weird. I when a new one just opened right in front of my job, and I'm looking, I'm like, are they open? Because it doesn't look like they're open because you don't see anyone like at a register. Like there's no real registers. There's just like these little like it like looks like the screens, but they insist you go to the kiosks.
Yeah. I'll say COVID made this worse too, because then you have,
Absolutely.
Yes.
because it was like contactless. We want to have no contact because of germs, because of the virus or whatever. But now like people continue to do that and they use that as an excuse. My wife for a little while was delivering pizzas and there'd be contactless delivery. She'd go to the person's house and they say, just leave it outside the door. And so that's what she'd do. And hopefully she left it at the right place because sometimes directions were very confusing. So there's just so much contactless. Or like even at Walmart, they were doing the thing where you order everything online, you pull up in your car, and then you tell them you arrive, and then the person comes in and just fills up your trunk for you, and then you drive off.
My wife
And
loves that, by the way.
That's it.
Which to some people that's nice. They don't want to drag all their kids in there. It's
Well, and I get that, but yeah.
yeah, and like, man, at my job, like I got to handle a lot of paperwork. Now everyone's going digital, and I hate it because my job's internet is so bad.
Oh yeah.
Like with certain cell service, it's so bad. So like you're trying to scan something in, you're waiting there for 10 minutes for it to load. Versus why not just have me sign everything on a paper? Everything's got to be on the tablet, and hopefully it picks up me trying to do like sign my name, or it's connected to the internet enough where you can get a signal through. Like it's that part. I get the commodity of it. Like it's easy. It's less paperwork. The environment, whatever. But like there are unfortunately still places where you're going where it's like a dead zone and like for cell service and certain parts, like especially if you go like East Coast, you're driving to Pennsylvania and you have like no cell signal. Or whenever I go to where kids camp, there's a place we go to, there's like zero cell signal. So good luck if anything happens. But it's like we want to have everything contactless. And like I feel like you lose part of that social aspect when everything's got to be, I can get it picked up, I can get it delivered. And I think
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think some companies are noticing that, and so like there's like extra charges too. They're adding like, we can do contact, we can charge a little more for that service fee.
The other thing I will argue, which neither one of you brought up yet, but when COVID hit, it fundamentally for a while and still to this point in some ways is reverberating, because of technology, changed the church. Because of the regulations and the rules that were put in place in these different states and the federal government. I know myself, at the church I was attending at the time, we had a lot of virtual services, where it would just be, for a while, I think they had maybe you could have 15 people, 10, 15, somewhere in there. I don't remember how many it was, but there was actually a limit to how many people could be in the building. And so it would be me, who played piano and sang, my pastor, and maybe a couple other people, and we would have service for all these people that were watching. And so, for somebody that sings or preaches, like I'm blessed to do, it's hard to do when there's a bunch of empty pews looking back at you sometimes. And
It's like with sports too.
Yeah.
They had like cardboard cutouts. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's insulting a little bit. You're trying to play a game and all you can see is like random cardboard cutout of a random person.
You watch a football game or like a baseball game and they'd be hitting an upper deck and just hit like a cardboard sign or something, But so while that was positive and we use technology in a good way to still get the message of the gospel out, and now that we can gather again, we're still seeing residents of that for people who don't want to come back to church because they've been so conditioned to enjoy the online experience, or they're still scared for some reason not to come back. That's affected the church. Now, on the opposite side of that, you have people that are elderly or sick or, have physical health problems or needs or whatever else, or they may be taking care of a loved one and they can't come to church. Well, then you have the technology there for them that are still able to, be a part of it. Or you might have like someone that's part of your home church and they may have had to go out of the country for some reason, like maybe they're on deployment in the military or maybe doing some kind of mission work or something. And so they still have access. So really, it's like a catch-22 because you have certain circumstances, like I talked about, that are really positive, like for those people. But then again, like I said, with the people that just have become conditioned just to lay out a church and or to isolate, and it's changed their lives. So, what is one to do?
Yeah, for sure. I at my last church I was the media director, and so when COVID hit, um I actually went to the pastor's house, and it was my wife and I. She helped me, and then it was the pastor and his wife because his wife was the uh, music director. So we did the sermon, the service from his house, and I had all of the camera equipment, and we went on Facebook, and um, we only did that for a few weeks, and then we were finally able to like start opening it again. And then we found where the people kind of liked it because we did have sick and elderly. We did have people who were traveling and they still wanted to be a part of the sermon, the part of the service. Um, and then eventually a lot of people started coming back. So there is that positive and negative, right? So the people, but then we had people that just didn't want to come, and so they watched because it was the easy way out, right? So they didn't, oh, I would be able to catch it on Facebook, and so I could just miss it this time, and
Mhm.
then the next time, and then the next time, and so yeah, it's definitely a catch-22. I want to go back to something Nate said, uh, the reliance on Wi-Fi and
Mm.
the internet. Um, that is another peeve of mine sometimes because I've dealt with jobs where so much of what we do now is internet based. And like my last job, we had a maintenance management system. It was a whole like big huge database that we did everything on. And when we had a power out or something, we lost all of our internet. And we literally, like most of us, especially those of us who worked in the offices, I worked at a mechanic shop on the admin side, but our mechanics could work in the dark and they put flashlights everywhere. But like the other half of us was just like, "Nah, I can't do anything."
Yeah, what do you do for
And
4 hours or however long the power's out? Yeah, like
yeah, and even at my current job now, I work at a family fun center, and if the internet goes down, we don't have access to credit card machines or even like basic like our cash registers won't work because everything's so internet based and so interconnected. And then when something goes wrong, everything goes down and you can't hardly do anything. And there's no backup plans for any of that. And that's where it can get scary if someone has all of their life, all of their everything online. If they only use credit cards, if they only use stuff on their phone for everything, once that's gone, like they're out of luck for anything to be able to do anything if they don't have access to that, and that can be super hard. And that's why I always have at least some cash on me, just because I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I can't do something if I need to.
oh yeah,
Well,
like going with what you were saying, Crad, about asking if there's something I'd wish was different. Now I do this is a lot of people do cashless, contactless payment. Like it is nice so I can have everything. I know all my cards are on my phone or whatever. Used to, like wallet, I feel like is so unnecessary now. It's funny when I still see people like doing ads for like Edge wallet or whatever wallet, like those wallets or whatever. I find it hilarious. Or when I go to Ross, they have like a section of just wallets. I'm like, no one uses those. Everyone just has it on their phone. I do have a wallet and I do keep some cash, but it's usually only cash I get from like birthdays or Christmas or like whenever I'm given cash or checks or whatever. Like when I mowed, I always had like a couple 20s in my wallet, but like I find it a hassle going to the bank, especially my bank, trying to get a hassle to go to the ATM. I don't want to pay that $5 surcharge. I want to go to a different ATM for like First Financial or any other bank because they charge you extra. I noticed recently Kroger for a while didn't have like the tap payment. Just recently they started doing the tap payment. Like they're one of the
Mhm.
last few ones to do it. Like everyone now has a tap option, or now you go to Walmart, you have the Walmart app, you do that Walmart Pay, just get the QR code. Like that's also scary. Like how many people are now figuring that out and oh, how can I scam you? Can like you got those skim readers right for your cards? Like for too long, where's those tap skimmers? Like there's something kind of like that because you do have the RFID covers
Mhm.
like to shield your phones or your wallets or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like how much for that's the next scam where people are really trying to get into like that tap thing and getting into like smaller businesses or like bigger businesses like for that's really a thing.
Well, to kind of go off something you said, Strange, you kind of presented the one of the sides of it too. We are so reliant on these technologies now that, if Facebook goes down, it's a major news page. If Amazon goes down, if something happens at a airport and it grounds flights and it just messes up the whole transportation system. Um, so you have like those hubs you're talking about and businesses that are so reliant on it. I know myself being in healthcare, we're very reliant on our electronic medical
Mm.
records system. We don't keep hardly any more paper copies of medical records. It's all
Yeah.
electronic. Now we do still do a lot of paperwork, but that paperwork eventually gets scanned and then it's on a patient's electronic chart. And so if somebody hacks into that and you have millions of people or thousands of people's data that's been exposed to who knows who, or
Oh
if it
yeah.
knocks down. I mean, I've had our system go down before, and it wasn't long, but it went down, and it just, what do you do? It's just, it, like you said, it just
Oh
kind of
yeah.
renders my job. I I don't know what to do because the system's down. So what do I
Right.
do? And so,
Well, and there's businesses that are going completely cashless too.
mhm.
And it's crazy. But then I'm also guilty because I get frustrated too when I can't do certain things because like I'll say this recently for my birthday I got an Arby's gift card.
Mm.
And Arby's doesn't accept gift cards on their app, and we like to order ahead of time most
Really?
of the time.
You
So
get
the
the
gift
points and
card,
everything. Yeah.
they can only take credit cards on their app. They can't take gift cards. The gift cards can only be used in person. And the app doesn't let you, of course, it makes sense, but you can't place your order and then pay when you get there. You have to pay ahead of time.
Mhm.
So the only time I can use this gift card is if we actually go and don't order ahead of time. But a lot of times, like the thing we were doing, they had a buy one get one free sandwich every Sunday. So after church, stop by Arby's, place the order, start by Arby's on the way home, and then eat once we got home. But we we couldn't use the gift card because we always ordered ahead of time. So I don't. So then it's annoying when something isn't up to speed with everyone else. So
Right. Right. So really, I guess it boils down to what we've been talking about since the beginning. It's not the technology itself; it's who's driving and using it the way that they're using it. And obviously,
yeah,
because of the evil in the world, people will misuse almost anything, any kind of technology. Like I talked about with the medical records thing, we've had people, a scam was brought to our attention in what I'm doing, and the fact that people would try to call us up, call offices, and try to basically change emails on electronic records to get access to patient charts.
hmm
That was a thing, and so you have stuff like that, man. It's just a crazy, crazy day to live in right now that we live in.
yeah.
Period.
I mean, it's interesting where people can use technology in one area to try to get information to get you in another area. Just recently, so my wife and I we opened an account with an online bank. It's high yield interest, so we have money in there that's building a lot faster than a normal savings account. And at one point, I through Facebook message because that's how she and I text each other a lot. I sent her the password for that. Um, and then one day, just out of random, I got a message from the bank said, "Can you confirm? Someone just tried to log in." And I'm like, "How did they even know anything like this?" And then, started thinking about it, and I didn't realize it at first. She's the one that kind of figured it out. It's like, oh, we sent each other messages. Maybe they hacked into our Facebook, saw that, and then went to the other website and tried to log in. So we froze the account, changed the password, did all that stuff. Thankfully, nothing happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I think so many people that are not Christians, right? They have this idea of like a utopia. Like if we do enough good things, we will achieve this utopia. Technology, everything will be great and all this. And that's kind of, a lot of people think about socialism and communism as, everything's equal and everyone puts in their fair share. And if people could be good and perfect, yes, those types of systems could work. The problem that breaks them down is, and this goes into the Christian faith, and if you look at what the Bible says, people are broken and sin just invades everything, and you're never going to have a utopia on this earth. And if you can just understand that and come to grips with that, I think there'd be a lot more checks and balances on things, because we just can assume people are going to abuse it. But a lot of people have lofty ideas like, oh, I'll do this and it'll be great and people can use it. And then they never think about how people are going to abuse it. And that's where we're going to run into a lot of problems. Once again, going to that quote, people are so consumed with thinking if they could do something, they don't think if they should.
Yeah. And that's been the way of history all throughout time. Every time we've made a significant leap, like you talked about it earlier, we talked about earlier with history, a lot of times a lot of technology was driven by war, by people trying to kill each other better, basically,
Yeah.
or to exert power better. You think back to the atomic bomb, how crazy that was, and splitting the atom, even just all that stuff has gone further and further and further until today. And like I said, from a Christian perspective, the one thing I think about is that one world government system that we know that talks about in Revelation, and having a one united currency. And so it would not surprise me if that was somehow a digital currency, which, we see cryptocurrency happening right now at a higher and higher rate. And talking about going into a cashless society, well, what's one way to control a cashless society but through technology and having control of people's money, or means to buy stuff, which then can usher in that one world government, and cutting off access to funds to certain people if they don't agree with your ideology. That's a scary thing. It really is a scary thing, particularly to a non-believer, if they hear these things and really study biblical prophecy and the book of Revelation. You start to look at it and say, man, all this is kind of shaping up. It's looking a lot more, more like what it says in that last book of the Bible and other places in the Old Testament, of some of the prophecies of that are yet to come. And you start looking at, wow, with the advancements we're seeing more and more, a lot of people for a long time thought, the chip was going to be implanted in the skin or whatever. And I don't know if that's going to be the fact. That might be what the way the mark of the beast is. We talked about the mark of the beast as well. That might be the thing. I don't know. But, the closer and closer we get to the end of this present age, of this present earth and present heaven, the more it just keeps lining up. And it's crazy. It just really is crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it gets packaged in such a way. And honestly, like from the surface, you can look at that, like the one world currency, and think, oh man, that would be so awesome. And then you wouldn't have to worry about exchange rates, and you could just go anywhere and your money would be good and all this other stuff. But then you think about the online currency, everything done through online. There's no physical currency anymore. And it is a big control, and people are not thinking of those consequences. Like, man, if I say something or do something that, the government disagrees with, and they have access and control to everything that I own, and they can just take it away from me like that, they don't think about that. And the fact that we are giving control to these other people, and it could have really bad consequences if not dealt with properly.
Yeah, you think of the syndrome quote, you could tweak it. If everyone's super, no one's super.
Yeah.
That if you tweak that quote, it kind of fits that. Like, I had someone at church the other day, and they were like, yeah, do you know, like, the QR code's going to be like a precursor to the mark of the beast? And I'm like, it's one of those things where you have to, like, talk to them about it, and we're like, you don't want them to make them seem like they're crazy, because that's like kind of a leap. But also, you could, if you look at it, it's kind of that way, because I can just scan a QR code and I can get to a Cash App or Venmo or like any website. and going with like that, you like online currency USD to anything else. Like if it was all the same, like it's kind of that, like that's what a lot of people want. How sketchy that is, because how then do you verify like, oh, someone took this amount of from me, but if it's all the same, like there's no proof. As technology progresses, there's a book series that did something like that. I can't think of what it was called now, where they kind of, or you had to pay everything through like a barcode. It was on your wrist. There was a book series, and I can't think of what it was called. It was a Christian book series. It was like 6 books. I can't think of what it was. It was really good.
Well, what are you thinking about that? I think of the famous quote, those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
Doomed to repeat it. Yep.
We see examples of when government tries to take control. Obviously one big one that stands out to me is Germany. With Nazi Germany, they promised, well, we'll do all this, we'll help people, we'll take care of things, just give up all your rights, give up your guns, give up this and that and the other. And once people brought into that, then of course it ushered in Hitler and exterminating Jewish people, and not just the Jewish people, but also any minority group, anything they did not believe in, that fit their mold for human society, they deemed unnecessary and unworthy of life, and so they exterminated them. You think of communist China and the controls there, and goodness gracious, even modern day, poor North Korea. I mean, goodness, they got they're so backwards and messed up by their government. And so, I think it comes to responsibility of us making individual choices to remember, these examples, and not to give in to the glitzy and the glamour of all this stuff that is just temporary. It just fades away. And a lot of the stuff we're using now is going to be technically obsolete in 2 or 3 years. Like we talk about, there's a new iPhone every year. There's a new big Android Samsung phone every year. And, or a new game system every few years. Is just going to keep getting bigger and brighter. But, we have to always stay grounded in our humanity and remember that at the end of the day, technology is not what defines us as a people. It's ultimately, it comes back to the gospel. It's a choice between good and evil. We talked about throughout this podcast, it's not the technology that's evil, it's how we use it. It's ultimately a choice. How will we use technology? Yes, but how will we respond to it in a way that promotes humanity instead of relying on technology, to get back to the basics of choosing between good and evil, between God and Satan, frankly, and to really to ground ourselves. We can't get so wrapped up in the, like I said, the glitz and the glamour and the to forget that, there's a human aspect to all this as well.
Yeah. It's I was gonna say something and I just left right out my brain as I had it teed up right for you to finish. We're not trying to fearmonger here. Like it's like
no.
that. Like I'm saying that because I guarantee there's gonna be someone's gonna put, if this is a clip or a post, someone's gonna make a comment. Someone did that. I think for when we talked about AI, someone was like making a comment about it. We're not trying to fearmonger. We're just bringing up a topic. It's relevant because of how technology, like these leaps. Now you have more stuff with AI now, like in the last couple months, where you see now there's Sora, there's a couple more stuff, there's a couple more technology improvements that are being made, and it's just something to look at. Famously, I think, I didn't even know what was happening. Apparently there was like a big internet outage for a couple companies that was going on, like how much we are attached to technology. Like I see the new Teslas and I hate those cars so much. They look so ugly. They look like fridges on wheels, and I can't tell you how many I've seen around here where I'm like, this doesn't fit, especially in my area, because I'm not like a big town, but it's like big enough, like it's in there between where you wouldn't think you'd see a lot of it. But when I'm at Taco Bell at like 11 o'clock at night and I see like 6 of them in a line in the drive-thru, I'm just like, it's a little odd, because like it might look clean and sleek, but like that's not like always the good thing. Sometimes old stuff's nice. Like simple technology is sometimes better.
And old stuff, I would argue,
flashy
stuff was built better than
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. like if you watch any of the stuff about Steve Jobs, I read his biography recently. How I think it was the first or second iPhone, how he developed it. Like he threw one of them in a fish tank. He's like, oh, there needs to be no air. Like it's, if you ever read that story or like watch the movie with Michael Fassbender, like it's kind of crazy how much progression there was. There's always the joke of like, oh, aliens did it. We have them in Area 51 somewhere. We're just reverse engineering their stuff. It's a cool, fun sci-fi concept. I doubt that's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I think like back way back in the day. I mean, you're talking like when light bulbs were a new thing.
Yeah.
And they originally made them. They made it like the way they made them. They were going to last like forever. Like you buy one and you never have to replace it. And you know that was awesome. It was great. It was cool until people
Terrible
were
business
like,
concept.
"Oh, if everyone buys this, they're not going to buy any more."
Well, supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. So it's like, oh, we need to like have a failure built into this so that eventually it will burn out and then they'll have to buy more. And that happened with a lot of technology after time. And you talked about Steve Jobs. Maybe in the beginning everything was good, but then people were like, oh, we need to build in these fail safes so that after a while it'll break down and they have to buy the new one.
Or they stop supporting them with updates.
Or they stop supporting
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm on the Google Pixel, and I had a 4A, and then they announced they were going to stop the security updates for that, and that's what finally made that and a couple other things. But so it was starting to break down, and they weren't going to have any more support or updates or anything. So that's what finally made me get a new cell phone. So.
Yeah, like I recently just switched to Apple. I had Samsung. What the heck? My flashlight just turned on. There we go. Talking about technology. Me can't work yet. My flashlight just turned on. Gosh darn it. But like I recently went to Apple. I had Samsung for the last couple of years, but I noticed like I went through two different phones, like a year and a half from each other. Like I feel like you should have a phone a lot longer. Like I take pretty decent care of my phone, but it's like the battery kept wearing out. But I looked at Samsung, their battery is about the same, but all the technology improves, but that's more work on the battery. Because it's having to power more of this more optimized technology, and like a lot of these companies, they aren't changing some of that. Like, oh, we can change this one thing, but we're not gonna change these other things because like you're saying, fail safes. We're gonna make them buy the new one every year or every other year or whatever. Funny, I was just reading some comic book and they brought that up. They were like talking about like indestructible clothing. It's like, why not have that in the world? Well, if every company had it, then they can't release new stuff. Yeah, because you're not gonna have the need for it.
Right.
Like we're not at that point. Like no one's making like non-ironable clothing. You don't have to iron it, or like it's smudge free or anything. But at some point, someone's going to have that, and like there's not going to be that supply and demand.
I would argue that the greed for the almighty dollar plays a lot in technology too. But
oh yes,
for sure.
Well, but it's also that pushes for new innovations, though, too.
That is true.
And, you know, a lot of people are against the capitalism that we have in this country. But if we didn't have that capitalism, technology would not have advanced as far as it is. And you can say all you want about how technology is destroying things, but also we have it better than we ever have. With the technology that we do now. I can tell you that. There's a lot of conveniences now that I would not want to go without again. And I will say that when I first got my driver's license, that was a little after cruise control came out. And let me tell you, those long trips, trying to do a long trip and not having cruise control, I don't know that I could stand that very long anymore. Right. I love my cruise control. If I'm on the highway for hundreds of miles and I don't have to hold the pedal down the whole time.
Oh yeah. It's cool, but also I'd like, hopefully, like history repeats itself. I'd wish that generations now would have, like, they could look back. They kind of do it now. Some companies like, hey, remember this thing from the 80s? Like, again, Nintendo's doing the Game Gear, whatever it's called, the Video Boy. Virtual Boy. Yeah. But I'm like, when are we going to get like a rehash of the GameCube? Or PlayStation's like, hey, remember the PlayStation 1?
Sega Dreamcast, please, come on.
Sega Dreamcast, like stuff like that. Like, I think we're at that point because like my generation, I think I read something like my generation and now this new generation, they aren't building anything new. Like they're just rehashing older stuff. Like, hey, remember this, and folding it in, make it part of their like cultural zeitgeist. And there's nothing new being improved from our point. Now we might be getting stuff from a previous generation, but nothing forward from us.
I would say that's probably a lot of it's because of like Crad and I's generation.
Yeah.
Wanting to go back to the simpler times.
Nostalgia.
And dealing with nostalgia, because I would say our generation probably has the more money to spend right now than the younger generations who are struggling. So they're trying to hit the market where it's at.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
There's also another statistic I saw. They said that the new generation, Gen Alpha or whatever it is, Gen A. I think it's the new generation. I don't remember. But they did a statistic and they said they will not be as technologically adept as the previous generation. If you put the phone in front of them, they couldn't do half the stuff the previous generation could do with the phone. Like they couldn't figure out half of it. And it was essentially they tended to, if I gave someone in their 20s a regular cell phone and I gave a kid now like a Kiro simple like kid tablet, essentially like at the level they're at, like they can't go, they're not going to figure out all these little widgets and all thing that's built into it. And I always see that stuff where like these kids, like there's people fearing like, oh, kids can figure all this stuff out. Not really. Like, don't have the reason to. They don't have like this initiative to. And it's a thing about the commoditization of technology. It's always around you. You're used to it, but there's no use for you to improve your technology or what's around you. You're so used to one thing. Like you have that one simple option versus like several options or a necessity for you to find several more options. I think that's how I read that statistic. And it was like, I thought of Wall-E. Like they were so used to having everything at their fingertips versus having to work for it, which I find very unfortunate kind of now. It's kind of freaky. Is there a, just talking about technology, is there technology now or like in stuff that you've watched or in stuff like that you'd want to have now? Or you kind of like find you're kind of like, oh, we kind of have all of that stuff. I always think of like Star Trek, they had the communicators, but it was like the 60s. Like they didn't have stuff like that. Like if you kind of call it a teleporter, but I don't know how well that would work. Like I always see like the end comic book stuff like that. Oh, teleportation, it's kind of freaky how you do it. How are you going from point A to point B? Like, are you just a beam of light, or are they like splitting up like atom and just rebuilding you? Like one thing goes wrong, one glitch in the computer, and like your legs or your arms,
nose or something.
Yeah, or you get like the fly, where you're just one wrong thing ends up in there, and then you're like a fly thing or anything else like it's in that chamber or whatever.
It's kind of fascinated with the concept of the holodecks myself. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like the virtual reality, but outside of a virtual.
You kind of have that kind of those light panels like movies are using now. Like it's almost there. Yeah. But if they could figure out where you to like have that interaction with stuff.
The Sphere in Las Vegas is nuts. I don't know if y'all seen that.
Oh yeah.
I've been in the area and I've seen it from a distance, but I haven't got up close or been inside.
Right, I haven't either, but just watching some of the stuff that they put on there, the concerts, and they just recently did the Wizard of Oz movie there, nice. And like they threw in like the effects with leaves and wind and all that stuff. That's pretty nuts.
I heard the maintenance on that's like insane. How they have to do it. I
can believe it.
Oh, like I wouldn't. You got to pay pretty good. You have to. I think don't they have to climb up on the sphere and then change out the panels?
Probably. They do it. Like
just
lights all over the thing. It's just like a giant LCD TV screen or
like I liked the what's the not Electric State? What was the other movie? It was it had a bunch of VR stuff in it and it had all the different Warner Brother projects. What was that movie called? Ready Player One. Like I like how they have like their rigs, their VR rigs. Like that's kind of cool. Like I can almost see that happening in like 50, 100 years. Like everyone's going through VR. Like Discord chats are going to go through VR. Like you have your avatar and you're doing like it's almost there. Like we're almost at that progression where you already have everyone communicating through social media. Like I can't tell you how many people I don't communicate through a phone number. Like my brother, who I have his phone number, but I communicate through him through like Snapchat. The only reason I have it because that's the only way he'll text me. And it's really annoying because I hate Snapchat and it's the only way I can communicate with my brother to do anything. And it's really annoying that people don't use like they're more want your Snap or your social media handle versus like a physical phone number, which I find like it's not this, it's about the same thing, but I don't understand why this generation more wants that versus like a physical phone number. Also, just telling on myself, being on dating apps, people are like, "Hey, what's your Snapchat?" I'm like, I'm not giving you that. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's too dicey for me. Where it's like you can snap something I said or anything like that. I don't like the idea of Snapchat. I find it very dicey. Even dating in general, like the commodity, like I could talk to someone else from another state. Like that's kind of like for all I know, it's from 50-year-old man. For all I know, and he's just pulled off someone's poor girl's social media. Like, like that's, I don't know. What were you laughing over there, Crad? About that I'm on a dating app, or that just my frustration with social media?
I guess more your frustration over social media.
That's fair. I feel like I'm like one of the only people that have that frustration, like in my friend group. But I guess like these are also friends that aren't on social media more. Like I'm the more social adept one. More people are so used to technology, like to social media. Like, man, trying to explain this to my grandma how Facebook works sometimes. I'm like, gosh darn it. It's entertaining sometimes, but I'm like, you've been around it long enough. You should know how this works. Like, yes.
Get off your social devices.
Go to the park, walk your dog, hike a trail, do something outside.
And don't do it just to record it on the phone and put it on TikTok like you're some kind of big viral influencer. Just go actually enjoy it.
Yes. Go fishing.
Yeah, go fishing.
Read a book.
Yeah,
I mean, my wife and I like to go on walks, and sometimes so she got me on Pokemon Go. So sometimes it's a Pokemon Go walk, but sometimes we put the cell phone down and we just walk and talk and enjoy what's going on around us. And the area that we're at, depending on which way we go, like we could see deer or squirrels, different kind of wildlife. And it's really neat to be able to just see those.
Not to have to take a picture of it.
Yeah,
not to have to, post it on Instagram. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy life.
That's the one thing I also wish was everyone's got to post something for social media. Like they're so used to like on Instagram, I gotta do this, like just enjoy it.
Just
like,
take a moment, enjoy it.
Yeah, like when I go eat out with my family, of course they all know my YouTube stuff. Like they're like record video. I'm like, I'm not doing this in Olive Garden. I just want to enjoy dinner. I want to have like a good time with my family. I don't want to have a phone out. I just want to sit here, enjoy time with my family. Like I can't, like it's frustrating when I see people like recording stuff on their phones and like the Denny's or Olive Garden. I'm like, just sit there and enjoy yourself. You can enjoy it without recording yourself. Like it's really annoying. And I say that because these are people that are my own age, and I'm saying that. Like, I feel like an old man saying that, but I think I don't know if that's just, like, because I didn't have a cell phone for so long, so I'm like, I feel like an old man.
I think it's true of anybody. I think everybody could benefit from that.
Yeah, like the way you
talk to each other.
Yeah, your waitress doesn't want to be recorded. People out in public don't want to be recorded. Like, just enjoy it in the moment. Yeah, Joe Schmo is not going to care that you were at such and such park. Just enjoy. Yeah. Like, I don't understand it. Like, occasionally I'll take a picture or something, but like I'm not posting it. I might post it, but like a lot of times I'm just like, oh, I like this. I want to remember it. Take a picture. It's back in my pocket. I might have music on. I might listen to music. I have headphones, but that's really about it. But I'm also soaking it, enjoying it. Like I took a walk the other day, had music on, turned around, 8 deer. We're just in the middle of the woods, and I was like, oh, these nice deer. And now like more parks have like QR codes. You can scan stuff. I'm like, that's just too intrusive.
So I would encourage you, dear listener, if you're listening to this by audio, video, however you get this, after you finish this podcast, put your phone down. Go talk to the person you love. Have a real conversation. Don't pick it up during supper. Go touch grass.
Or be on your phone during yeah.
Or be on your phone separate off.
Yeah.
Do something different. Do something that breaks the cycle of technology.
Dude, remember when Nickelodeon did the 1 hour of play? I don't know if you guys
had something for that in school. We called it recess.
Yeah, Nickelodeon or one of them had like an hour of plays on the weekends. They encourage you to go outside.
Yeah, go outside.
Yeah,
play, man. Use your imagination. Goodness gracious, that's a lost art.
Yeah. Sit down with a pad of paper and draw something, or read a book, like
or write something.
Write something. Yeah,
physically.
Dude, that's what I need to get back into that. I used to do that during COVID. I'd go to coffee shops and I'd write. I have like a couple files of just stuff that I wrote, and I read it. I'm like, this is so nonsensical. I don't know what I was doing.
It was the coffee talking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah. So if you enjoy the conversation, because I don't know if we want to talk about anything else,
I'm
you
good.
could you could follow us on social media at Pizza Party Pod. Thank you for those who were all the views from the Dinks videos, and then like the couple of people that were like, funny enough, when it comes to like us individually, I get the most comments about something I've said. I don't. It's the weirdest thing. Crad's got them too, but it's mostly like it's when you were really close to the camera. So like he's gonna eat us all. I'm like such an odd comment, like an odd comment to leave. It's so weird. You can follow us there. This episode will be up. I finished the cut I had made for the 50 episodes. I partially forgot about it. It's done, and I forgot to upload it, so that'll be up at some point.
Oh, nice.
Probably before or during whenever this goes up with the audio version. You can follow that. Follow us on Spotify, again, wherever it is. We're on season 2 on Spotify because I guess you do seasons, and I didn't know if I wanted to split it up or just do like intrusively all one thing. Or I was like, for whatever, 50 episodes like is one season, another 50 episodes, 2 seasons, whatever. However it works with Spotify. I don't know how that works. I don't know if like that does anything. The season things really, it's like it's not a TV show, so I don't know like how all of that works. It's Spotify, whatever. You could follow me at ft_FSCrews. Recently, I tried Parlor Donuts. I was in line for 45 minutes for coffee and donuts. Feels like that was way too long, but apparently a lot of people think this place was good. It was all right. I also tried, because I was trying to find poster board, the new Celsius. It's a Snowball Frost, some type of alcohol, but it's not alcoholic, so don't worry. I'm not getting sloshed on the podcast. That's a video I want. A topic is like Christian faux pas, 'cause how much I get asked about like certain stuff, like Christians get asked. Weave that into some type of topic. I'm not sure where Dawk is. I thought he was going to be
he
here.
was supposed to join us, but apparently
I didn't see a Discord notification, but I don't
now
have
you got
Discord
him.
pulled up. Yeah. Discord is distracting him. He's on there at RS Dawkins. Yeah, he's in Mexico again. Or wherever he was at. He's at RS Dawkins. Silly was here before the call. He's there at SillyBoy. And Strange, where can't find you?
I'm still plugging away at getting videos ready for next year for the Strange Lyrics channel,
Nice.
which I do the Christian lyric videos. I'm not doing much for myself as far as gaming, but last night we did a session with Sketchbird, Hufflesnitch, the Christian Assassin. They were all streaming, and then SillyBoy and I were also playing. We got to play the game Repo, which was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. It was great. I'd say the Christian Assassin and Sketch are putting out like Twitch clips and stuff like that. So
nice.
Those are a lot of fun. You'll see me on those. But that's as far as online stuff, active stuff. That's what I'm at right now.
Nice. And Crad, you working on anything?
Currently, my main focus at the moment is me and my wife have started a ministry called a Merry Heart Ministries. You can find that on Facebook currently. So working on getting that off the ground. So
nice. You working on anything particular, or is it just kind of?
Really looking at more of the humorous side of Christianity. That's what's called a Merry Heart Ministry. So I post on there a lot of memes and whatnot, and working on getting a few bookings, hopefully together for next year, to come and do speak, preach, sing, maybe tell a few jokes. You never know.
Heck yeah! I don't know if you're doing anything with holidays coming up. If you had anything planned.
Actually, yes. Now that you say that, me and my wife will be in a Christmas play. It is a parody of the Andy Griffith Show. It is called A Christmas in Juneberry instead of Mayberry. And I play Curtis, the town drunk.
You gotta do your best Hal Smith.
Something like that. So
because he's Otis.
It should be very entertaining, and I will be sharing the lives for that event when it comes up in December on that Facebook page. So if you want to catch me, try my hand at acting, and my wife as well, for the fifth year in a row, feel free to tune in there.
Nice.
All right.
Heck yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed this. There's 3 things we're going to talk about: pizza, politics, and what's a P thing with technology? The PlayStations.
Somebody reach for PlayStations. P thing for technology. Well, is there really P? Phones.
Not
Well,
really.
no, we talked about that. We
Phones.
talked a
There
lot
we
about
go.
phones. But
We'll,
anyway,
we'll work on that one. Yeah, again, social medias are all down below. And you'd also check out another episode coming up and whatever. I found a way, I have it on, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the list of episodes if you have that much trouble trying to find it. But like, it shouldn't be that hard to find it. Just type in Pizza Party Pod or Long Distance Party Podcast. It should pop up. That other podcast, I think they deleted their channel, the other Pizza Party. I think
Oh,
because
really?
whenever I look it up, I don't see anything. It's just
last
our
one
stuff. So
said
that or we
nothing.
just well, I think they just stopped posting and in the algorithm how it worked. But it's just how the cookie crumbles, the pizza slices
That's
crumble.
how the pizza slices.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there-